move on to the next speaker. It's a combination of Ms. Nalawatta and Ms. Weeraratne. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it together. Or yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's good. It's.
I wish a very good morning to all of you, Honorable Chair, and my learned audience. Nepal, Sri Lanka, India. The study for today is Nepal-India, Sri Lanka-India relations in the regional context since 1987. Through this presentation, we are hoping to discuss about Nepal, Sri Lanka, and India's influence over these two countries, China factor, and finally, conclusion and the recommendations. Nepal is a country situated in between two regional superpowers, India and China. It was first under a monarch, but with the movement of restoration, they were able to obtain democracy. But subsequently, insurgency by Maoists ensuing a 10 years war, with that instability of the country, King was able to reassure the power in 2002. But however, with much struggle and efforts, they were able to regain democracy in 2008. One of the unique features of Nepal-India relations is that open border system. Because of this open border system, Nepal is having a great influence from India. Not only that, because of the fact that Nepal's trade depends on India, it's another factor which contributes the India's influence over Nepal. Although China is the other closest neighbor of Nepal, they could not have much warm and close ties with each other because of these mountain ranges stands as a barrier. Nepal is a country rich with natural resources like water and agricultural lands, but they also high with natural disasters as well. They have a flourishing tourism industry, but however, because of this instability of the country, it had led the investors discouraged, and it has as a result, there is lack of investments as well as poverty. When talking about Sri Lanka, it is an island which is geopolitically situated in an important place. It suffered 30 years war, but however, they are now developing very fast and they have a highly developing maritime industry because of the situation. They are situated in the world's busiest sea routes. Sri Lanka depend on exports. Their economy depend on exports, mainly depend on exports. With the blooming economy and the modern ideas, service sector is also rapidly improving, and their education as well as health is improving with the aim of becoming the hub of Asia. Recently, Colombo has been known as the fastest growing city in year 2015. In this slide, you can see the socio-economic indices of the South Asian region. When comparing Sri Lanka, India, and Nepal, you can see the illiteracy rate and the rates of population living below poverty. Sri Lanka has the lowest illiteracy rates and the lowest rates of population living below the poverty. So this proves that This proves that the progress of Sri Lanka as a developing country. Now I would like to invite Vasana Nalawatta to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Shalini. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. India, being the regional power, have a huge military capacity and is among world's largest and fastest growing economies. As John Robinson has once said, whatever you can rightly say about India, the opposite is also true. The open border system has become a huge issue in Nepal politics and security. Cross-border terrorism, cross-border crimes, smuggling of arms and drugs have become a huge threat to Nepal and also to India. A large number of Nepalese women are sold in Indian brothels as prostitutes, and the economic blockade of the year 1989 reflected the true nature of India's influence over Nepal. And when we consider the elections of Nepal, in most of them, Indian paw prints can be seen clearly. And Nepal's security sector is mainly depending on the assistance and aids provided by India, and their military sector, they are getting a huge number of weapons as aids from India, and moreover, they are having joint military exercises. Article 5 of the Nepal-India Peace Treaty says that Nepal shall be free to import arms from third country, but needs consultation from Indian government. Moving on to Sri Lanka, Indian influence and Indian pressure to stop the Operation Liberation and Indian influence to sign the Inculcating Accord in the year 1987 was the highest point of Indian influence to Sri Lanka, and sending peacekeeping forces too. But during the final war, Sri Lanka was aided by India and assisted by India. As India and Sri Lanka are situated, separated from a narrow sea route, arms smuggling, drug smuggling, and illegal fishing can be frequently and clearly seen. And when we consider the development of Nepal, both of their neighbors are fastly growing powers in the region and in the world also. So Nepal can't sit back and wait and watch. They have to cooperate and develop with their neighbors. And throughout the history, Indian influence over the whole development process, politics and security can be seen, and because of that, their politics and security is a bit shaken. But yet, they are looking for new ways to develop with China and cooperate with China. Sri Lanka is a fast-growing country. Recently, their maritime sector, fishing industry, tourism industry, and business sector is fastly growing, and in order to achieve their higher developing goals, they are developing their health sector, education, and the roads. When we consider China factor, it's an important fact, and we cannot forget the China factor when we talk about Nepal and Sri Lanka. In recent days, both Nepal and Sri Lanka having many development projects with China, and recently Sri Lanka have most of its important and main development projects with China. But what aggrieved India most was not that, but Chinese war submarine in Colombo Harbour in the year 2014. As Atal Bihar Vajpayee says, friends can change, but not the neighbors who have to live together. So, under any circumstance, Sri Lanka cannot afford to lose the good relationship Sri Lanka is having with its big brother India. So, at the same time, Sri Lanka have to maintain good relations with its big brother India and good friend China. when considering Nepal, China plays an important role in Nepal too. Whether Himalayas stand as a barrier between Nepal and China, still they have managed to start a development of transportation system with China, with the aids of China, and China is helping for the secret military of Nepal, and in the process of purchasing arms and promoting peace also, China is aiding Nepal. When considering Nepal-India relations and Sri Lanka-India relations, when comparing both, Indian influence over Nepal is higher than Indian influence over Sri Lanka. When we move on to recommendations, we are suggesting that Nepal can have more favorable negotiations with India in order to achieve their development goals, combat terrorism, combat the drug smuggling and stuff. So, and also Nepal have to secure, especially Nepal have to secure the open border system between India and Nepal. And when we consider the treaties Nepal is having with India and the fact that they are sharing borders, the influence over Nepal is much higher. So that's why we are saying that they can have more favorable negotiations which can fulfill the needs of this century. For Sri Lanka, saying non-aligned like the days of President Prime Minister Bandaranaike would be the best. And we can't forget that we should maintain good relations with both India and China. And in order to develop, Sri Lanka have to get maximum benefits of its valuable location in the Indian Ocean, and that would lead Sri Lanka to stand as a developed and a stable nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think that was an interesting two-point view, and I think it's also important in the sense that it accepts the necessity to keep both, that is the good and the bad in relationships, and I think she has, two of them have emphasized this aspect considerably.